Welcome to the news. I'm Tommy Fox, filling in for Tom Slavic. Let's take a look at those headlines. Ione is cautiously optimistic about AB 1191's chances with Senate Finance Committee hearing Monday, June 25th. AWA draft budget work begins with capital improvement projects list. Ione finds aerator may help clean its Pond 5 and regional partners may help enlarge the project and spread costs. AWA moves hydrants to list of dozens of top priority capital improvement projects. And in the second half of the news, I'll speak with Supervisor Richard Forrester for a preview of Tuesday's agenda for the Amador County Board of Supervisors. Stay tuned.
You're watching Amador County's #1 news and sports leader, TSPN.
Welcome back. I'm Tommy Fox, filling in for Tom Slavic. Ione Interim City Manager Jeff Butzlaff said last week he is cautiously optimistic about the city's chance of getting basic aid funding restored to Ione, Amador County, and her cities, after attending legislative hearings and seeing a Senate committee planning to address the issue Monday, June 25th. Amador and Mono counties lost property taxes and vehicle license fees due to basic aid finance policy issues. Ione lost just under $400,000 the last 2 years because Amador Unified went basic aid, Butzlaff said. Ione lost $190,000 the first year and $163,000 this year, part of the license fees that would have been transferred as property taxes as done throughout the state. But it can no longer occur because of the basic aid status of the school district. Allison Huber's Assembly Bill 1191, if passed, would correct this problem and the city would get another $160,000 a year. In addition, an amendment being considered would hopefully fund 2010, 2011, and 2011, 2012 revenues that we did not receive, Butzlaff said. AB 1191 would take effect and set up a new process of accessing the money starting July 1st. He said there is some money in the governor's budget for one of those years and also a discussion of amending AB 1191 to provide for restoration of 2010, 2011, and 2011, 2012 funds. Butzlaff said the amendment looks favorable right now and we are very encouraged. He said we are the poster child of the issue because Ione is the most dependent on vehicle license fees because of the prison. In 2004, Ione had a boom market in housing prices. It got to more than $800,000 5 years ago, but it has dropped because housing prices have dropped. Butzlaff said it looks very promising and this will be resolved. And the city will recover 1 and possibly 2 years of the years lost. He said $350,000 would be available to us that we would otherwise have received, but it would not become a done deal until the legislative process works its way through. We have reason to be at least cautiously optimistic. AB 1191 passed Senate Local Government Committee and other subcommittees unanimously. He said the question arose of whether this was an appropriation, but the money would have come to us, but was lost due to a breakdown in the basic aid process. Butzlaff said, we are not asking for new funding, it's simply funding that was already supposed to be happening. The school district property tax went to us, but was not backfiled by the state to the schools. And the Amador Water Agency Board of Directors hosted a budget workshop last week and planned another this week as the fiscal year nears an end. Staff led directors through the draft budget during the workshop last Tuesday, June 19th, starting with a list of 40 capital improvement projects with priority rankings. General Manager Gene Mancebo said the engineering committee made the list and the budget has a lot fewer projects than it could have. Top priorities are determined by liability issues, risk management, and must-do projects. About 26 are numbered in the number 1 category and may be required by regulations or health and safety. 7 of those are tops, labeled as 1A, including 3 bridge projects that require design and/or construction for utility relocation. All 3 are required, as is a Buckhorn Water Treatment Plant compliance project. Field Operations Manager Chris McKaig said the hours of distribution and engineering are split by 1 person, and we are about half a person short to get all the engineering work done. Work in Ione to get interim water treatment plant capacity is also crucial because we do not want building permits withheld because of a lack of capacity. Participation fees will fund it. Safety and regulatory projects are rated really high on the project list. Mancebo said rate increases are under consideration, are not in the draft budget, nor are the formation of a committee facilities district for the Amador Water Agency and related rate changes. He said the budget has a 3% increase in revenue, but a 9% rate increase. The wastewater district improvement District Number 1 was suspended by AWA board until they get through working on the budget. President Gary Thomas said they hope to look at reducing the increase with the budget work. Karen Gish, officer manager, said the budget assumes wages and benefits are up 10% based on memorandums of understanding and contracts in place with employees. Director Paul Molinelli Sr. said the cost to provide that was anticipated. Mancebo recommended that they refer to the Personnel Committee or the Budget and Finance Committee for negotiations. Director Art Toy asked if the half a full-time equivalent engineer deficit was in the budget. Controller Marvin Davis said the budget is running lean and operating revenues are $176,000 short. The draft budget had a total operating revenue of $11.8 million and total operating expenses of just over $12 million. The AWA will hold a special meeting for another budget workshop starting at 2 p.m. Monday, June 25th at the agency office on Ridge Road in Sutter Creek. And Ione City Council last week approved activating a new aerator unit at its wastewater storage pond 5 that may end up helping the city find a less costly solution to its sewer problems. The council approved a new contract with wastewater consultant Winsler and Kelly and heard a report of the status of the report of waste discharge, which is due by the end of July. Interim City Manager Jeff Butzlaff said the city is looking at compliance requirements of the cease and desist order from the state, which orders that Ione remove manganese and iron corruption from its storage pond seepage into the Sutter Creek, or apply for a permit to make that discharge. The council gave authorization to go forward with the solar circulator and aerator in Pond 5 to circulate and modify the iron and manganese levels of concentration in the water by mixing it. The city started a lease purchase arrangement for the aerator, Butzlaff said, and if we get outcomes that we're hoping to attain, it could minimize work on the stratification levels and better oxygenate the water in the pond, and the pond can overcome the iron and manganese degradation. Winsler and Kelly, through sampling, found Pond 5 was the worst and received state approval to try degradation changes with the aerator. Butzlaff said Pond 6 and 7 did not have a problem. This was clearly defined by depth testing. The approach was not what the seepage discharge compliance plan indicated, he said. The report said the high iron and manganese issues may have been caused by heavy sludge at the bottom of the pond, but sampling, testing showed it was not the cause. It was caused by colder water, more direct contact with groundwater, because Pond 5 is 4 feet deeper than the other ponds. He was hopeful there may end up being no need for long-term financing and indebtedness, which could be the result from a larger project requirement. Ione will continue discussion with the Amador Regional Sanitation Authority and Mule Creek on discussion with those parties with a more long-term solution. Butzlaff said it becomes a basis for us going forward with the least cost and most conducive approach to a solution. It could also allow the city to not have to go through a Proposition 218 notification and rate increase. A long-term fix, including land irrigation, can better work out with partners, he said. Last year, meeting cease and desist deadline backed Ione into a corner, but as talks improve, possible partnerships enhance Ione's ability to go forward with regional larger project. Costs were estimated at $2 million to $17 million, and partnering would mean Ione would not have to pay the entire cost. And the Amador Water Agency Board of Directors last week discussed capital improvement projects and agreed that hydrants should be among the higher priority projects on an agency to-do list. Director Manicero asked if they could defer bridge work. AWA General Manager Gene Mancebo said they have to run a year ahead of the bridge construction schedule, at least one of which is slated for 2013. There are 3 on the list. Field Operations Manager Chris McCaig said AWA is required to remove or move utilities on the bridge projects in Amador City, Sutter Creek, and Bunker Hill. Comanche needs water storage tank liners along with service line replacements. He said we will really be pushing hard on Comanche. Regarding fire hydrants in Comanche and the upcountry, McCaig said some need to be repaired and some need to be replaced, so they get different levels of priority. Manicero asked if they should move hydrants higher up on the priority list. Director Paul Molinelli Sr. asked if they should move both repair and replacement of hydrants up on the list. Mancebo said they should make all hydrants a priority one. Director Art Toy asked about the $150,000 grant that the Amador County Board of Supervisors pledged to Comanche for repairs at its system. Mancebo said supervisors have said they will honor that grant offer as long as rate increase for water improvement in Comanche is approved. In public comment, one woman asked about insurance being canceled due to hydrants. Robert Budrick said a standpipe outside his home in the upcountry on a 3-inch line was fixed by simply putting a hydrant on it. He said AWA should hire a grant writer to help fix the system. Paul Johnson of Pine Grove Community Facilities District said experts have told him you might prevent a forest fire with hydrants, but you are not going to fight it with hydrants. Mancebo said they have grant applications filed to do replacements of distribution projects. They are also trying to see if they can get the responsibility of all small districts placed under county oversight. He said the first step with the county is working with the county health department. And that's all the time we have for this first half of the news. I'll be right back with Supervisor Richard Forrester for a preview of the Board of Supervisors meeting this week. Stay tuned.
You're watching Amador County's #1 news and sports leader, TSPN.